Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech Bits, otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet, and being a tech-based basement dweller, I can tell you a lot about Bitcoin and how it's great for using in a way that governments can't mess with you on. And this is one great position that it can be used. Bitcoin Wallet rejects Canada's court demand to freeze funding, citing technical impossibility. Now, if you don't know, there's a big thing going on in Canada, right around here in Ottawa, where truckers had decided that they weren't going to take it anymore. They do not like what's going on when it comes to the pandemic. Now, one unfortunate part about pandemics is historically, at the end of pandemics, is a great time of rebellion, a great time of unrest. When I say great, I don't mean that it's positive. It definitely is not positive, and that seems to be the situation here. And while I do think that technically freedoms are being, people are being deprived of freedoms if they don't get their shot, which is unfortunate, there are ways to protest without locking down streets. I've always been a big proponent of locking down streets. There's ways you can win friends and influence people, but locking down streets, locking down bridges, these are not good things. These are basically acts of domestic terrorism, in my opinion. Now, once again, I do think that some of the rights of individuals have been trampled on, but if you're going to give me a hard time for asking you to wear a mask, then Nancy, you can walk right on home. Now, at the same time, is it a government overreach that assets have been frozen to these individuals? That is a big question. Of course, we have Bitcoin, a good interloper to send money to people who can't otherwise use money. That was one of the big things. We didn't want the Fed, we didn't want anybody to have access to our money. So Satoshi, the Satoshi group, the individual, whatever it is, decided that they would make Bitcoin. And in this situation, it looks like Bitcoin was flowing to truckers, which is mind-blowing. Bitcoin's generally for basement dwelling techs, not exactly for truckers. So we're coming on to a new time where Coinbase.com is bringing the average sports head into the crypto domain, and now this is bringing truckers into the crypto domain. Well, I do think that this is going to be good for crypto. It's got some issues. So anyways, the sexy boy toy Justin Trudeau decided that he was going to enact riot measures, or I shouldn't say riot measures, emergency measures to cut the fundage being able to come to the truckers. Now, some of the truckers were actually using Bitcoin, and they were using this thing called Nunchuk, which is a Bitcoin wallet. And they said, Nunchuk, you have to freeze all of the assets of these people who are using your wallet. Nunchuk's like, I can't, we can't, because technically it's impossible. So Nunchuk team said, we do not collect any user identification information beyond email addresses. We also do not hold the keys. Therefore, we cannot freeze our user's asset. We cannot prevent them from being moved. We do not have knowledge of the existence, nature, value, and location of the user's asset. This is by design. So first off, I wonder how Nunchuk actually gets money. I mean, are they doing it out of the kindness of their own heart? What's going on there? Now, if the government has this wallet and it basically orders it not to be used and somebody uses the wallet, they can be pinched later on. That's something very important that people need to know. So this is hilarious and sad that the government would actually think that they knew or could lock down Bitcoin, because within its nature, it's decentralized, but at the same time, it's not completely private. If you wanted to get a private coin, you wouldn't use Bitcoin, you wouldn't use Ethereum, you would use Monero or Phantom Coin, or I remember there was one other. Anonymity is one of the most compelling arguments in favor for Bitcoin, and the validity of the assertion was put to the test last week. Yeah, so I don't care what this article says, you can find people's information on Bitcoin if you watch it long enough, and if you hassle the people that Bitcoin was sent to. One of my favorite parts of this whole article is the fact that the government is taking notice of Bitcoin, that they are worried about it, and they are trying to control it. It means that Bitcoin has actually gotten somewhere, and as an individual that has watched this Bitcoin come up from nothing, that has seen Satoshi's vision from the '08 crisis, this is freaking beautiful. This is going somewhere. This Bitcoin thing, we're going somewhere with this. Unlike these trucks that just decided they wanted to pull up on the street. I don't care what side you are on. If you're on the right or if you're on the left, don't block frickin' streets. You don't know who has an emergency. You don't know who has a small bladder. You just don't frickin' know. Now, I personally have a little bit of an anecdote. I had a daughter who had issues at birth, shortly after birth, and I had to get her to the hospital really quick, and I didn't realize that it was an emergency situation. Now, if anybody had held me up for 20 minutes, if anyone had blocked any of the roads, she would be dead. Unfortunately, because of this gridlock in Ottawa, one person died. And in my opinion, the blood is on the hands of the truckers. And I will take this to my grave. And I've told my father himself, if you block the road while I'm trying to take my daughter to the hospital and I don't know what's going on, I will drive through you. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do that in this situation, but maybe intelligence wouldn't stop me from trying. What I'm saying is, don't block the frickin' roads. Who's surprised that the government issued an order for something that they fundamentally misunderstand? Not me. That's hilarious because I really think that most people who are into cryptocurrency don't understand fundamentally how it works. And when people start telling me about new coins and ask me what I think about them, I try to ask them, okay, who holds the wallets? Where are the nodes? And who's mining? Nobody can answer me those questions. So yeah, here's the real answer right here. You want something, if you want a coin that nobody can trace, it might be a little bit evil, Monero, that's what you need right there. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Like and subscribe if you like this stuff, and don't block roads. I don't care what you're protesting. Have a good one, folks.